In the desolate heart of the Arizona desert, where the moon hung low, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, an unsettling silence reigned. The night was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the hum of my dad's car engine as it cut through the vast emptiness. Having just bid farewell to my mom at the airport, he found himself alone on a seemingly endless road that sliced through the lifeless wilderness. As he drove into the desolation, the road stretched out like a black ribbon, disappearing into the void. The only illumination came from the feeble glow of his car's headlights, revealing the emptiness of the desert on either side. It was a desolate journey, punctuated only by the occasional mournful howl of the wind. The desolation took an unexpected turn when my dad noticed a dark figure lying in the middle of the road. Approaching cautiously, he assumed it was a lifeless creature, perhaps a deer, that had met an unfortunate end. However, as he drew nearer, the creature's head abruptly lifted, locking eyes with him in the cold darkness. In that chilling moment, my dad's heart skipped a beat. The lifeless form transformed into a grotesque sight as the creature's skin seemed to ripple, revealing a distorted figure within. Panic seized him as he witnessed the surreal sight of a person, or something resembling one, encased in the skin of a dead animal. Without a second thought, my dad muttered a curse under his breath and swerved his car to avoid the bizarre entity. As he sped away, leaving the strange figure behind, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being pursued. The sound of footsteps, or something akin to them, echoed alongside his car, and an overwhelming sense of dread filled the vehicle. In a desperate attempt to escape, my dad pressed the accelerator to its limit, the headlights cutting through the darkness like a knife. Yet, the relentless pursuit persisted. The rhythmic thuds against the road and the echoing footsteps continued, heightening the terror that gripped him. As fear consumed him, my dad found solace in a silent prayer, seeking refuge from the malevolent force that trailed him. The minutes felt like an eternity as he raced through the pitch-black void, haunted by the unseen presence that refused to relent. Eventually, the chasing footsteps faded away, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. My dad, drenched in sweat and trembling, realized he had narrowly escaped whatever malevolent force had confronted him on that desolate road. With trembling hands, he pulled his car to a stop on the side of the road, the engine sputtering in exhaustion. The desert, now eerily quiet, seemed to hold its breath, as if it, too, had witnessed the bizarre chase that had unfolded. My dad sat in the silence, trying to make sense of the inexplicable horror that had just transpired. The night air was heavy with an otherworldly tension as he scanned the surroundings, half expecting the creature to reappear from the shadows. The only sound was the soft whisper of the wind as it rustled through the sparse vegetation, carrying with it an indescribable unease. After what felt like an eternity, my dad summoned the courage to continue his journey. The road stretched ahead, an unending path through the desolation. Though the creature was left behind, its haunting image lingered in his mind, refusing to be dismissed. As he drove through the night, my dad's thoughts raced, grappling with the inexplicable encounter. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had brushed against something beyond the realms of normalcy. The logical part of his mind insisted it was a vivid hallucination, a trick of the desert night playing on his tired senses. Yet, the lingering fear in his gut told a different story. The road seemed to wind through an endless expanse of darkness, the car's headlights, the only beacon in the void. The occasional silhouette of cacti and shrubs cast eerie shadows on the desert floor, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Each bend in the road heightened the tension, as if the very air held its breath in anticipation. Finally, the faint glow of civilization appeared on the horizon. The distant lights of a small town flickered like distant stars, promising safety and normalcy. As my dad approached, the adrenaline-fueled fear began to subside, replaced by a weariness that settled into his bones. He pulled into the first gas station he came across, the fluorescent lights casting a harsh contrast to the enveloping darkness. The attendant, a weary-eyed man with a weathered face, glanced up as my dad entered. There was a silent acknowledgement between them, as if the desert held secrets that only those who traversed its lonely roads could understand. My dad hesitated for a moment, contemplating whether to share his harrowing experience with the attendant. But the fear of disbelief or ridicule held him back. Instead, he filled the gas tank in silence, the mechanical hum of the pump punctuating the quiet night. Leaving the gas station behind, my dad resumed his journey. The town lights faded in the rearview mirror, swallowed once more by the impenetrable darkness of the desert. The road stretched out before him, an unending ribbon leading him into the unknown. The encounter haunted his thoughts like a ghostly specter. Was it a manifestation of his own fears, a mirage conjured by the solitude of the desert, or had he truly crossed paths with something beyond comprehension? The questions lingered, casting a shadow over the rest of his journey. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, yet the memory of that fateful night refused to fade. It became a spectral presence, a whispered secret that lingered in the corners of his consciousness. The once familiar roads of the Arizona desert now held an air of trepidation, and every rustle of the wind seemed to carry a spectral whisper. Back home, my dad grappled with the aftermath of that encounter. He sought solace in research, scouring books and articles for any shred of information that might offer an explanation. But the more he delved into the realms of the supernatural and the unexplained, the more elusive the truth became. It was during one sleepless night, haunted by nightmares that echoed the chase through the desert, that my dad stumbled upon a collection of local folklore. Stories of shapeshifters, ancient spirits, and desert entities whispered through the pages. The accounts bore a striking resemblance to his own harrowing experience, igniting a spark of recognition deep within him. These tales spoke of creatures that existed on the fringes of reality, entities that could assume different forms and traverse the desolate landscapes of the desert unseen. The stories painted a vivid picture of malevolent spirits and shape-shifting beings that preyed on those who dared venture into their domain. A sense of dread settled over my dad as he read these accounts, realizing that he might have encountered one of these elusive entities that night. The folklore offered no comfort, only adding layers to the mystery that had become an indelible part of his past. Haunted by the need for answers, my dad embarked on a quest to uncover the truth. He reached out to locals, seeking out those who had lived in the area for generations, hoping to find a kernel of wisdom in their tales. The elders, weathered by the harsh desert winds and the passage of time, shared stories passed down through generations. Among these narratives, one stood out, a tale of a vengeful spirit that roamed the desert, taking on the guise of the animals that fell victim to the unforgiving terrain. It was said to be a guardian of the land, protecting its secrets from those who dared to intrude. The elders spoke of rituals and offerings made to appease the spirit, a delicate balance between the human world and the supernatural forces that dwelled in the desert. Armed with this newfound knowledge, my dad delved deeper into the lore surrounding the desert spirit. He sought guidance from those who claimed to have communed with the supernatural, desperate for a glimpse into the mysteries that eluded him. The journey led him to remote corners of the desert, where whispers of ancient rituals and encounters with shape-shifting entities echoed through the canyons. Each step brought him closer to the heart of the mystery, yet the truth remained elusive. It was as if the desert itself guarded its secrets with an impenetrable veil. My dad pressed on, fueled by a relentless determination to understand the enigma that had become intertwined with his own existence. In his pursuit, he encountered individuals with tales of their own, stories of fleeting shadows on the edge of perception, inexplicable sounds that echoed through the night, and encounters with entities that defied explanation. The collective narrative painted a mosaic of the supernatural, each piece adding depth to the tapestry of the desert's mysteries. As the months turned into years, my dad's quest became a pilgrimage, a solitary journey through the ever-shifting sands of the Arizona desert. The lines between reality and the supernatural blurred, and the boundaries of his own understanding unraveled in the face of the inexplicable. In the heart of the desert, where the wind whispered ancient secrets and the stars bore witness to the unfolding mysteries, my dad found himself standing at the crossroads of the tangible and the ethereal. The haunting memories of that fateful night intertwined with the folklore and legends of the land, creating a tapestry of fear and fascination that transcended the boundaries of time. The desolate road that had once been a backdrop to his encounter became a symbolic pathway to the unknown. With each step, he delved deeper into the secrets that the desert held, confronting the shadows that lurked in the recesses of his own mind. The journey became a descent into the abyss of the supernatural, where the boundaries of reason crumbled like sand in the wind. And so, the story of that night in the Arizona desert unfolded into a sprawling epic, a tale of horror and fascination that transcended the limits of comprehension. The enigma of the shape-shifting entity lingered, a phantom presence that continued to cast its shadow over the desolate roads and the secrets concealed within the heart of the desert. As my dad's quest continued, he became a living embodiment of the stories he sought to unravel. The line between investigator and subject blurred, and the desert, with its whispered secrets and shifting sands, became a canvas upon which the mysteries of that night played out in perpetuity. In the end, the true nature of the shape-shifting entity remained elusive, a riddle that defied explanation. Whether a guardian spirit, an ancient force, or a figment of the imagination, the encounter had left an indelible mark on my dad's life, a haunting reminder that some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. The desolate road in the Arizona desert became a symbol of both fear and fascination, a threshold between the known and the unknowable. It stood as a testament to the thin veil that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the tangible from the intangible. And so, the legend of that night lived on, whispered among those who dared to traverse the lonely roads of the desert. The tale of the shape-shifting entity became a cautionary fable, a reminder that, in the vastness of the unknown, the line between reality and nightmare is often perilously thin. As the winds continued to carry the secrets of the desert across the ever-shifting dunes, the story of that fateful night became a part of the land itself. The echoes of footsteps, the distant howls, and the enigmatic figure hidden in the shadows lingered in the collective memory of the desert, a spectral presence that defied the passage of time. And so, the mystery endured, wrapped in the shroud of the Arizona desert, where the boundaries of the supernatural and the mundane converged in a timeless dance. The road, once a mere pathway through the desolation, became a portal to a realm where the inexplicable and the unimaginable awaited those who dared to seek the truth.